So yes, welcome everyone again. Today we're going to cover a quick reflection on what has been presented so far already last week. And then we'll spend a little bit of time on what we're calling timelining, which is really at the heart of this process. This is one of the main ways in which you will be supported in your learning journey by complementing the activities that you'll be doing with the technology to support you in things like the data collection and how to make that visible. Then we will have a section on Cardano integration, how you can integrate Cardano into your projects, some of the capabilities that Cardano specifically unlocks. And then we'll head into breakouts, as Delphi was saying. You'll map yourselves onto your projected hackathon journey. What does success look like for you? And then we'll come back to share key learnings before a final Q&A. So where are we in the process now? This is the question we'd like to start with today. And it's an interesting question because this was actually a question that was asked to us already by a participant who I think is also a hub representative. And we jumped into a call, and you can find the recording of that call in the docs. And I just wanted to share this as an example because we'll be continuing to upload learning content into the docs as we go. And since the hubs will be receiving their own version of a docs site where you can publish whatever you like, this is an example of how you can make your learnings, your activities visible throughout this process. And publishing is a key activity that we'll keep coming back to as we go. But the idea is to be making visible what you're learning as you go. So please check out this video, which will give you a fuller answer on that question. But where we're at now is we're approaching the end of the enrollment phase. We've been presenting these kind of meetings, engaging with you once a week to share the main concepts and share with you the structure of the program. But now we're shifting into the hackathon phase. And this is where the main initiative transfers over to you guys. This is where you will be working with your hubs directly to really implement the concepts that we've been introducing. This is where things get real. So a quick recap on some of the things we've covered so far. We introduced the publishing stack in the last call last week. And to give a quick recap, the publishing stack is basically a set of applications that we're making available for you to customize and extend and really make your own that serve the purpose of making visible the work that you're doing on the ground. This is one of the key ways in which the hubs will publish a case study to showcase the project, both at the summit and beyond. And so there's lots of material that we will share and that we have shared already that kind of gives more context on this. But the key is that it's a way for you to set up a whole environment to communicate your work and make it as customized to your own context as you can do. Then we expanded a little bit on each of the apps that we're offering, but we also said that these are just examples. The process of organizing to work on systems change is very complex and it has many dimensions. And you may very well find that you build your own apps, your own custom apps, to make different dimensions of that work visible. These are just the starting points, but they give you some key ways to make your organizing processes visible. Things like agendas, meeting agendas and scheduling actions together. Of course, publishing, writing documentation about your work and that whole context. In the last call, we really elaborated on how this is about communicating whole systems, and the docs support you in that. Also evaluating, which we'll highlight a little bit further today with the example of timelining. And finally, registering. If you want to organize your own processes, your own hackathons in the future and enroll your own cohorts, this is one of the ways that you'll be supported in doing that. We presented this slide, which gave an example of how you could make your case studies visible, the showcases of each project. We spoke to this being about the whole network of hubs, and how seeing visibility across that whole network is really how we'll be able to see both ourselves and others be able to see us as a whole greater than the sum of its parts. And this image was offered to give you an idea of just the first doorway into that whole environment that you will be creating throughout this process as you publish your work. Okay, so shifting into timelining, the key here, and I'm just going to bring up another graphic. The key here is how this relates to the emergent learning table, which is something that Delphi has introduced and touched on already. This is the main framework that you will be using to explore your communities and generate new insights by observing your systems of place. What this framework does is it guides you in being able to deepen your inquiry as you literally walk around your neighborhoods in person. What we're bringing to support this is the publishing stack, as I previously mentioned. And we've already touched on the docs a little bit last week, which is one layer of the publishing stack. This week, we're going a layer deeper into custom integrations. And it's really an order of magnitude more complex. The custom integration we're presenting to give you an example of how you could extend this publishing stack is timelining. And this relates very much with the evaluation perspective of your projects, which relates with, in evaluation, it's basically a kind of reflective process. How we facilitate these hackathons is very much about action learning at its core, and that has a kind of forward movement of action as well as a reflective movement of learning. So it serves your own groups, your own organizations in being able to learn about yourselves, and at the same time, it's tending to an extended audience of possible funders, possible partners who you would like to engage in this work. And they would like to learn about the work happening as well. They would like to evaluate the work that's happening. So this timelining, what I will present today, is an example of that evaluation perspective and learning. All of these apps together can contribute to timelining. They are all part of presenting an overall timeline of the event. The way that this becomes most accessible, however, is through your own mobile phone. We have trialed this before in Ghana, in Accra, in our last event that we organized, and we received 400 plus voice note contributions. If you remember from some of the previous talks, we showed this slide here, which shows the kind of organizational stack of the different partners at these different levels in this overall system. On the one hand, we have the summit as a whole, and WADA, the network that we're coordinating with, forms a part of that overall summit project. And then contained within that is all of the hubs. Each hub is a node within this network, and the projects themselves, that the participants that you will form, are going to form through the container of a hub that is there to support you and guide you and really help connect with your local place. So this image shows all of that organization, and these blue arrows on top are supposed to resemble the voice notes from participants. These voice notes were very general in Accra, but what we're going to do with this program is actually relate it to the emergent learning table. So I want you to imagine that in your Telegram group, in a group chat, you have a channel dedicated for each of the 4 quadrants on this screen. One for insights, one for hypotheses, one for opportunities, one for ground truths. And as you're exploring your neighborhoods and starting to form teams based on what purpose feels most meaningful to you, you can be recording via voice notes, via your phone, the insights generated, the hypotheses that you're coming up with, what new ideas are you having, the opportunities that you're seeing, what's a possible event that we could hold, what's an important meeting that we need to do, and the ground truths. And in that way, continue your research into what makes this place unique and how can we really make the best intervention with our projects. So I want you to imagine then this happening across, now we've had over 1,000 participants sign up, and we have a visual for that as well. And we can use this data to lift those voices from the ground, from your communities, into the summit. This will be a way for us to showcase and present the work, and in a way where your voices are directly projected onto the main stage, with very influential audience members in the room. And the key here is that this is one further layer of the overall publishing stack, where you will publish a case study. Working with your hubs, you will create a whole environment to communicate your work of working on systems that you have identified by walking your neighborhoods. One final thing I wanted to present is, obviously we're in an age of AI, and so a kind of post-processing step that we did after Accra was to vectorize all of those voice notes and map them onto a timeline. So you can literally see the timeline as a whole. And this is a very early stage product because it's meant to give you just an example. If you see here at the top, it says evaluate.prisma.events, and you think back to this slide, evaluate.hub1.wada.org. This is to say that all of these apps are just a template for you to customize and extend as much as possible. So it's a way for you to create an evaluation perspective into your own systems of place. That will be hosted on your own hub's cloud infrastructure to bring the data management and data hosting as close to the locality as possible. And yes, the point here is that you can query it and say, what were some of the main insights generated through this process? And that will read across contributions, 400 contributions from a cohort of 25 people. And we're now going to try to do this across more than 10 cohorts, or at least 10 cohorts, of probably upwards of 400 people. So imagine we've been encouraging you to engage all of these different roles in this process, different community members, different specialities, people that see in a more visual way, the artists, people that see in a very intellectual way, the researchers, people who are really the foundation of society, farmers and teachers and nurses. Having all of those people in the room is how you will be able to see systems as a whole from all of these different perspectives, and really work with them to create an effective intervention. So I just wanted to give a quick whistle-stop tour of going a level deeper in the publishing stack, where we are going to be here supporting you to generate your insights, your hypotheses, ground truths, as you go through this next phase of the program, the hackathon phase. And thank you very much.
Tabs?
Yeah.
There's a question that repeats itself quite a bit. There's many people asking this question because there's many people, new people today. So the question is, how do I join a hub?
Okay, so we have been receiving applications or enrollments from many different kinds of places. You can see all of the countries here in this list. And we only have a finite budget, of course, with which we can support hubs. So we are in the process of finalizing that list of hubs who are selected to be supported officially, but we are not placing any barriers at all on anyone participating, even if they're not one of the selected list to be supported. And what that means is any hub in any city can register and be mapped onto this map, and then you will be able to start your work. The idea is to work in this kind of in recognition of this organizational stack, because that's how we'll be able to kind of work at a way that feels tangible for you. And so the short answer is to join the Telegram, which is at the top of the docs page here. If you click on that, you'll join into the big group. You can keep asking all of those questions, and we'll make sure we find you a hub. And if there's no hub in your region, you can still participate as a team. You just won't have that kind of entity to guide you as much in the process. So it's a little bit of a larger leap, but it's still possible. Delphi, was there any further questions you wanted to?
No, that's the one that is repeating all over and over again, and I think you were very clear. The Telegram is the place where they should sort of come in, join, and ask. And there's a lot of hub leads within that Telegram, so that's a very important aspect of it. And then, of course, we also encourage people to join the hub based on where they are in, like where is your territory, where is your community, because you're going to be working on projects that are based on your local communities. So if you are based in Accra, for example, then we encourage a Ghanaian hub or a regional hub, but something that is quite similar and that can sustain your own process, so that the group itself, the cohort, can go through the hackathon all together, and then yes, we will have a collective of projects coming up that are based on the different hubs. David, I don't know if I can pronounce your name properly, so I'm choosing the name that I can pronounce easiest. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but do you want to ask a question? Are you there?
Um, yeah, good evening. My question is, can you please send a Telegram or link on the chat so we can join?
So you're based in, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I don't know,
It was
Tabs, if you
to
did.
send, yeah, it was to send the Telegram link into the chat. So I'll send
Good.
it through now.
Excellent. Thank you. Do you want to see the milestones? And then we get to Darlington with the Cardano integration?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or should we take a few seconds to see if there is anyone else with a question, urgent question coming up? Good. Okay. I can see a lot of people joining in to the Telegram chat. So key milestones. As I said before, we are choosing hubs in order to be themselves the agents of this hackathon, so that the hackathons be self-organizing. And this is something that we value very highly. We don't know the timings within each regions or each places where the hackathons are at, or the participants in their own locations. So we are choosing to say, hey, these are the milestones that you need to go through in order to have a really creative, deep, and profound project and bring it to life and then come to the summit, right? So the hackathon will unfold in 6 weeks, from the 1st of November till the 15th of December. And it's divided in 3 developmental stages that are very, very important. And if you're new, we can now send the link to the enrollment calls 1 and 2, so that you can see those videos, those recordings, and have a better idea of what we mean by these phases if you haven't been in touch with us before. So the first phase is regenerative exploration. Is understanding the problem through place mapping, community essence and potential. Is walking your own neighborhood, but walking it with new eyes. Is understanding your community and the challenges that your community is going through. And it's also recording all that information in such a way that then you can collectively share with other participants, because you will be forming teams. And this is important in the second phase, which is emergent learning. This is where collaborative work of meaning making really stands up. This is when teams form and take all the collective knowledge of the communities to come up with problem statements. So you might walk your own community, your own neighborhood, and you see that there are many challenges that you are going through or the community is going through. And then you can have many problem statements, design and share with others. But the idea is that you choose one that is very powerful, that you want to engage with, that is systemic enough, and that is regenerative enough to have a very impactful action towards your own community. So this is not only about sort of developing Cardano and winning something, but it's also about giving back to our own community. So there's a twofold winning situation here. And this is very important. The community needs to be uplifting your own thinking to develop the project that makes sense to that community, not something that is disconnected from reality. We are not looking for the next Uber. We are not looking for the next application that doesn't really change the landscape of the community. We are looking for something that is really unique to that environment. So that's the second phase. You will be working with teams. You're going to be developing all of that. And don't worry, because you have the tools and you'll have a manual that walks you through the whole process. And then, of course, is the third phase, which is the action iteration. This is where we integrate Cardano skills. And now we're going to give some time for Darlington to speak about this. He's the Cardano sort of training and phase of all this, of the CATS project. And then it's a little bit about learning by doing, is building technical capacity and translating insights, those problem statements that we were thinking, those early solutions that we were sort of walking and talking and engaging with, and prototyping and refinement, developing working prototypes and preparing all of those projects in order to submit and get to the final stages of this hackathon and process. So as you can see, each phase builds up on the next one, which means you need to do phase 1 in order to get phase 2 and in order to get phase 3. If you only engage with phase 3, which if you're a developer, if you know a lot about technical skills, then it's easier in a way. It will feel a little bit not connected with the local environment. And remember that we are choosing something that is very, very powerful. This is sort of speaking into the mission and the vision of what we are bringing here. So these are the three main phases. These are the key milestones that you need to engage with. And this is what it needs to be designed within your hackathon, right? Great. I noticed that there were a few hands up. I don't know if anyone has a question till now. If not, we're going to go towards sort of the development of Cardano skills. But if there is any urgent question that we can tap now, then bring it on. We will have anyhow at the end of the session sort of a Q&A space. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. So I just joined the call actually. I don't know if they might have said this before. So my question is, like these three things listed above, it's actually for the hackathon, right? Like that's what's gonna be happening in the hackathon, or is it something you do personally, or I don't really understand that.
It is a really good question. What is your name?
My name is David Chukwemeka David. Yes, Chukwemeka David.
Chukwemeka. Did I pronounce it
Yes.
well? Thank you.
Chukwemeka, yes.
Chukwemeka. So I think that's a very important question, because it's right. These phases should be built in the hackathon. There's only one small part of this phase, which is the first phase, that it's a little bit going to be on your own, which is the first phase. Because as we were speaking before, you can be in one location and the hub can be in another location. So it's not the same community, right? But you're going to be walking your own community. What you can do with your hub is sort of come together and understand each phase and use the toolings of each phase and so on and so forth. But within the first phase, you will need to talk to your neighbors. You will need to walk your own community to understand what are the most important sort of stakeholders of your community and how they are involved in the sort of evolution of your community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Great, excellent, thank you. Philip.
Hello, good evening, everyone in the house. I sincerely appreciate for the privilege to be here. My question is that the first phase, which is regenerative exploration, if I get where the problem, that is discover the problem, the cause of the problem, and the steps in solving that problem. Now, I go to the second phase, which is emergent learning. That's where we work with the team, right?
That's where you create a team. Yes, that's coming together, and you can come together within a team in two ways, because you share the same local community or because you share the same interest, which let me give you an example. We had in Accra a really good example of Bean and Cash, a project that came up that was about floats. But because the float problem wasn't being able to be addressed directly, they chose something a little bit different, which is waste management. That was correlated to floating, but it wasn't floating in itself. And there was a team that got engaged with that subject also because how interested they were about that and how that project could scale and growth. So that's another way of grouping that you can take into account, Philip. Does it make sense?
Yeah, sure, yeah. It makes sense to me. Thanks a lot for the answer.
Thank you. We're having a lot of question tabs, so please jump in.
I feel like we may have to take more questions at the end and move on to the next section of the agenda, if that would be all right. So please remember your questions if you have your hand raised.
Could I give one urgent one?
No, we will take the questions at the end. Thank you very much, though, and we would like to hear from you later. So please remember, and we'll make sure to get to you towards the end. At the end of the last week's call, we ran over for about 50 minutes taking questions from everyone. So don't worry, we will get to you. Over to you, Delphi.
Thank you. Thank you, Tabs. Darlington, are you ready to speak into about Andamio and your support through all this project?
Yes.
Excellent.
From all of us over here, by the way, in Nairobi, there's 20 participants in the room, plus my face and my team. Oh my gosh, this is blurred. Why is it blurred? Hello, Sasa. Nice to meet you all. I've put them on the spot. Now they're all they're being super attentive now. But yes, by the way, if you're in Nairobi, we're doing this every Thursday, so you can join in person. Where is my slide? And I'm gonna share my screen. Share document. Is that a thing? No, shared screen. This one. Yep, great. You can all see the thing that says Andamio by Gimbal Labs. Yes, you can see it? Great. And hopefully my audio is coming through clearly. Aki.
You sound perfect, and we can see the presentation.
Yes.
Oh, great. Great. Entire screen. Okay, good. So my name is Darlington. I'm I'm mostly a smiler, a big smiler, and a dancer. But then also for the last 20 years, I've written code for money. So I do that too. And the last 5 years, I've written mostly code that has to do with Cardano or touches Cardano in some way, shape, or form. In case you're wondering why am I talking to you about courses and Damio and stuff. So I will be sort of helping with creating content that should be very useful, I hope, and impactful on your technical solutions. Once you've gone through the first two phases and you've gotten to this point and you have an idea and you're needing to do something technical, these resources that we're putting together is supposed to help with that, especially if you know software development, but you're new to Cardano. It's not going to teach you software, but it will teach you the Cardano bits. So that's what these lessons, these resources are meant to be. And like the rest of the course, they're mostly guided, self-guided, guarded. Right, they're self-guided, so you can sort of take them in whatever order and sort of, it's up to you. You could pick your pace. If you're in Nairobi, I'm going to be cracking a whip. But if you're not in Nairobi, you're off the hook. You can do whatever you want. But no, but I will go through the slides that's meant to basically tell you why the course is being put out this way. Maybe why you might even want to do the whole thing if you commit to one of the tracks. And then when this is all done and settled, what kind of benefits you can still carry into the future by participating in this hackathon and going through this Endamia resource. So Endamia is by my friends at Gimbal Labs. We'll just skip them for time. But this is the thing they were trying to solve. You come to Cardano, you say, I want to help, and it's not clear where to go, how to do it. It's not clear if it's for free, if you can make a few dollars or a few shillings or if the Naira. I think that's all the African currencies I know. Right. And then if you had like an open source project and maybe you wanted to have one or two people help with some things, maybe you have some money, maybe you don't. It can be hit and miss on finding the right help. So there's another challenge we're trying to solve that does not concern us today in this hackathon, so I'm going to skip that bit. But you can have access to the slide, and then you can read more about Endamio and Gimbal Labs on the interweb. So to solve those two things, they came up with two parts of the system, the Endamio system, that the goal basically is to create trust and organization around distributed work. The idea is you take a learning management system on one side, you take a gig system or a bounty system on another side, and you put them together. It's like a marriage made on Cardano blockchain. If you don't like marriage, I'm sorry. I don't know what you like that brings people together, that thing. So the LMS, people like me, like Cats, like Wada, like what doing now, we can put course on there. We can have assignments. Most of the assignments would be you having to go do something and submit it. This concept of project-based learning. And if you do the assignment, you would be awarded an on-chain credential. And then towards the end of the course, you can go through and claim all of those credentials. That's the learning side of things. The gig side of things, also WADA, Cats, or anybody really on Cardano can say, hey, I'm looking for people who are certified in this specific library. I only want people who knows this library like the back of their hand. So now those people who need that help can examine our curriculum, and if they are happy with the contents of it, then they can put up these gigs that says anybody who has credentials from this specific curriculum are allowed to pick up and complete the work for this gig. Now there's no interview. You don't have to go show your GitHub repo or anything. All of that is just on chain and it's instant. So that's the solution. That's why we chose this thing. I'm gonna skip through a lot of these because it's more of the same thing. This is what it means for you. You get those credentials in your wallet. And it's easy for everybody to see what you know. They don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to have ChatGPT fix up your resume and your CV to make it look this way or that way. Right? None of that stuff. And it makes it really easy to get distributed help. This is sort of, we went through a bunch of this stuff already. This, we'll just skip through that. And like I said, we're not doing anything with Treasury, but basically your path will be you get set up in a Damio. This is something your help managers will be helping you with. And we will be helping you help managers on if you need help on how to help people get through the Endamio platform. There are resources that you can read through as well, but when we have those hours, I don't know what we're calling them, what the final name was. We're going to have touch points, but if you need help with some of this stuff like Endamio, we will be there to help. But once you enroll, you do the thing, you get your credentials, and then maybe your hub might be inspired to put up some gigs. Maybe there's stuff that needs to be done that can be associated with these credentials. And then you can do those gigs potentially. And like I said before, with each thing through the course, you have to do something to prove that you can do something. Most of the lessons and assignments usually take the format of I can create a multi-sig wallet. I can write a smart contract. I can write an escrow smart contract. Those kinds of things. So you have to do those assignments. More goodies about Damio. You can look at this. You can scan this QR code to get a walkthrough. I'll just linger on here. But that's pretty much the big idea. And then the other thing I would say, as far as what you will see once you get into this platform, when it's introduced to you, you will have, it's going to be introduced as one course with different modules, 101, 100s module, 200s, 300, 400s. Those are meant to be learning tracks. So you don't have to take every single thing in there. You take the thing that's meaningful to you. Maybe you just want to do smart contracts. So you're going to focus on the 400 modules and do all the lessons in that 400 modules. Maybe you just want to do off-chain stuff. You don't want to write smart contract, but you want to do everything up to writing a smart contract. So building transaction, serializing stuff, deserializing stuff, inspecting transaction, generating signatures, generating wallets. That would be a separate course. Everything Cardano related, inspecting UTXO, picking UTXO out of the user's wallets, those kinds of things would be a separate course. And you can do just that and build a successful project without having to do the smart contract course, right? There will be a course for creatives who is not going to be writing any code, just using tools that are out there to make NFTs, mint NFTs, burn NFTs, those kinds of things. And then there will be a course for community managers, people who tend to like bring group of people together. Maybe you want to put assets from that group on the blockchain. Maybe you want to create a treasury for transparency and accountability on the blockchain. There will be a course just for those groups of people. That is what you can expect. Any questions? Yes,
yeah, there's
I'm done.
a question in the chat that I want to send to you, which is, are courses also are exclusively in English, or do you have any languages also apart from English? Any other offerings?
They are all in English right now. Let me ask this platform, because this platform is new. Let me ask them what the language story is, if that's the thing.
Okay.
I will put the answer in the Telegram.
What I'm guessing is maybe see if there is a possibility of them having them in French, maybe, if that's even possible.
Exactly. I will also be testing different browser extensions that are designed to turn anything on your screen into your language to see how viable that is. So,
okay, great. Any other question for Darlington about the Cardano skills? Daniel, I noticed that your hand has been up since before, so I'm not counting you. But if there is any question for Darlington, this is the time. We have him here. Great, you have 2 people.
okay, let me try this name. Nuruddin Kabir. Kabir.
Good evening, sir.
How
Good
are
evening,
you?
sir.
How are you? What's your
Fine,
question?
sir. Fine, sir. So, like, I wanted to request if maybe the slide you just presented on Andam can be shared, so we can go through it again.
Yes, I'll put that in the Telegram. My double ganger is not here to help me, but when I stop talking, I will put that slide in the Telegram.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir.
And I see a question in the chat. And is there any certificate after completing the module? Yes, there are. They're called credentials, the cryptographic proofs that you've completed the module. So you will be able to mint those after you've completed. And actually, I think it's not even that you have to complete the modules. You will get a credentials for completing each I can statements. So if you can prove that you can, maybe sometimes a module might have 8 of these I can statements. So when you complete each of them, you get a credential. Noah, aka Prisma.
Hello, Mr. Darlington. I just love your presentation. It just feels so wholesome. Thank you very much for this energy. Somebody just told me that you dance really well too. My question is regarding the smart contracts. I'm just a little bit new. I just met Andamio right now. So, do you guys also do things related with different smart contract languages like Bluetooth, Marlow, and Aiken? I see those are the 3 more used smart contract language.
Yeah, for this course, it would be explicitly on Aiken. And
Okay.
this specific course, for the record, I did not make it up. It was actually designed by the creators of Aiken, or just adopting it for this use case. So you will be getting the Nini, the thingamajiggy from the masters themselves.
Oh my God, I want to be
And it
there.
would just be on Aiken. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you very much.
I think we have time for one more, maybe, or 2. I don't know. Dominion.
All right, so Darlington, confirm you can hear me.
Yes,
Yeah, Darlington,
you are coming
can you
through
hear me?
live and clear.
All right.
Yes.
I love your presentation, by the way, and I seem to know you as well from Lido Nation. And I've never spoken to you before. This is my first time speaking to you, by the way. I've only been communicating with Titi most times. So this is not my first Cardano hackathon, and this happens to be my second Cardano hackathon. And I know very well how challenging ICANN can be. I think I was able to make headway with Lucy recently, but that one is off chain. But ICANN has proven to be so challenging. Though I'm gradually finding a way through, it wasn't that easy. And building on Cardano too can be so challenging as well. So I really hope that this will really like be of help to us, as developers, because I can tell that the developer experience has been really bad. Like seriously. I mean, user experience is okay, but developer experience I can't see. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. And I can, yeah, go ahead.
So concerning the platform, I can't really pronounce the name. It's kind really but the thing is, would I really be able to like grab the core concepts like as to how the blockchain works from this platform?
That's the big idea. I mean, with the ICANN course is really teaching you the language, and in teaching you the language, a lot of that blockchain concept stuff, the 101 course that has nothing to do with coding, that could be a thing. If you're completely fresh to Cardano, you might want to take also, because that will have some of those basic blockchain fundamentals. What is the UTXO? How does addresses work? Those kinds of things.
Okay.
But it's not going to touch code at all. So if you combine those two things together, you should be able to get pretty good fundamentals. The other thing that, this whole process is encouraging is localizing it, right? So you guys, I strongly encourage you work with your hubs and you try to identify how you like to learn or how learning works. I'm finding that with these guys here in Nairobi, we have to have people watching them sometimes, and making sure they're not struggling alone. It's hard for people to ask for help. So we have to like literally watch them to make sure they're not there twiddling a thumb and like biting at nails or something to be able to offer help. So I would really encourage some of those local processes of like, how can we help each other really grasp this stuff? What kind of study sessions can we put together? What kind of hangouts can we put together to make sure really that no one's left behind?
Okay, yeah, that would be nice. Although I'm not really in the city where my hub is, but I'll try to look into it via the platform. And another thing, Darlington, I would like to message you on Slack after the call.
Yes, you're in our Slack. Message me, it's fine. I'm also in the Telegram, so you can message me. I see a thing from the chat. What is the procedure for taking the course? All of that is coming. You will need an ADA wallet, so Cardano wallet. So if you're new to Cardano, just get your wallet ready. If you need an incentive to get your wallet ready, right now there is a Cardano midnight airdrop that requires your Cardano wallet. So that's a good way to start doing Cardano things until the course instructions are published. But once the instructions are published, there will be, you could follow something on the docs to get onboarded, to get set up to be able to take the course and then go through the course. And then your hub managers will also be a good touch point for if you need like more structure onboarded.
All right, Darlington.
Thank you, Darlington.
My pleasure.
So we will continue a little bit more. Tabs, can you share the slides? Thank you. So what we are trying, this is our third enrollment call, and I know there a lot of you are really new at this, but what we've thought was mapping your hackathon journey. Just think through a little bit about what success looks like. If we have the stages, if we know what we have to do, how do we self-organize? And what I've done so far is I've taken the names of the hubs from the participants, and we design breakout rooms with the name of each hub. So you can go and assign yourself to a hub and just talk to the people from that hub, so that people from the same hub can start having a conversation about this, about mapping this hackathon, about what would that road look like. Okay, so I'm going to be opening the rooms. You need to sign yourself into a room, which means you touch upon a blue thing. I forgot the name in English, tabs, and you join that session. So, for example, Abdul Jabbar Hub, Goma Hub, MIBT Hub, Directed Ed Hub, Next Chain Hub, Incuba Hub. And if there is any hub that I've missed, just let me know so I can add one more room. But just join and have a conversation with the people from those hubs and start engaging with them through this question mainly, of course. So I just opened rooms and then go on and join the room. Nice. Is there anyone that has a doubt about how to join a hub? Ask any question
I still in
you
the main break. Yeah, I still in the main room. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess.
so you have to touch upon breakout rooms and join one of the hubs that the one that you choose. You will have a few different hubs to choose from. For example, Direct AD Hub has 5 people already. MIBT Hub has 1 person. The Abduja Hub has 11 people.
I don't see my hope there, the Fiona.
Okay, can you tell me the name of your hub so maybe I can add
Next trend hope.
next chain? No.
Next trend. Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman is in my hub as well. I don't know if he's yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can add one.
Next trend, please.
Yeah. I cannot add one right now. I've added all of them. I need to take them down and change them. Let me see if I can change the name of one that is not being used.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hi, yes.
Hello?
No, maybe Abdul Rahman, you can stay here and maybe have a conversation with the people that are joining your hub.
Sorry, Delphina. I would
Yeah.
like to translate for my people who are here and they can't really hear something in English, so that they may join my breakout room.
Yeah. So
Bonsoir tout
Boaz,
le monde.
I put your hub as Goma hub. You can go there. There is 2 people there, Martin and Mermos.
Yeah, so maybe some others still here and they don't know if they have to go there. So I
Okay,
have
can
to
you
tell them.
say it? Yeah, can you say it in French for me?
Good, thank you. Bonsoir les amis, c'est le temps des breakout rooms où nous pouvons aller discuter de nos sujets et de nos problèmes selon nos niveaux ici locaux, et nous allons essayer de pouvoir voir nos points de vue. C'est que vous devez quitter cette grande salle ici et chercher au bout de 3 points en dessous de l'écran, chercher un working group qui qui vous convient. C'est vendre Goma Hub, et je vois également qu'on parle. Thank you.
Thank you, Boaz. Okay. So we have 0 people in Incuba Hub. Is there anyone in the room that doesn't know where to go, what to do?
Yes, that's me.
Moses, tell me.
I live a few kilometers outside Kampala, so I don't know which hub I'm supposed to connect to.
Well, we have a final list of hubs, but we need to decide on a few. So I would say choose one of the hubs that are, if you know them, that are as an option over there, and just engage with them. And then you can decide when we have that final list. Unless Tabs, do you have a better idea what to do?
I'm thinking because there will be many people here who aren't going to map themselves onto one of those hubs specifically, we could advise them to also join a room and learn about how they're trying to make sense in their context, and think about how you want to bring that into your own hub's context after the call. It would be more beneficial to have everyone in a breakout room and part of the conversation, even if it's not your hub, than be waiting here.
Yeah, definitely. So if you don't have a hub and you are undecisive of which hub to join, just join one and start having a conversation with them and see where they're. But you maybe will be able to self-organize, and then you can choose better. Okay. Should we give 5 minutes more? Would that be okay?
We have a lot of people in the room from Nairobi. That's not in the room behind me on the call.
Okay. I cannot
we?
create Darlington another breakout because I need to
No. I'm just wondering if there are even people in that's
Ah.
Nairobi on the call, not in the room, because I think we want to do our stuff here in the room. And
yeah.
So besides Charlie and Celine, or were there any others? Can you just put in the chat if you're in Nairobi, so I can get a sense.
You have a few, eh?
I know of 2 who's on the call.
Celion, Matthew.
I've already connected with them. Oh, there's more coming in. Oh, how do I see those messages? Everyone. Oh, there you go. Yes, I am. Nice. So how do we reconcile these humans? Let's see. So okay, I can. It's not a link. Yes, Celine, Matthew. Okay, Nigeria. Okay. Okay, well, Celia, you know about the space, so I will put a link to a WhatsApp group for the hub. You should join it if you're not already in it. And then we're mostly going to be doing stuff in this room. You can join us next Thursday. We can go from there.